Why is there a mark of the beast? People cannot buy or sell without the mark. You have the Antichrist. Now remember, you've got the real Jesus, a fake Jesus. Now, that will be a person, the Antichrist. Jesus also said during the time period of the church age, there'll be many antichrists. That are false preachers, teachers, false leaders within the false Christian church. Then he said there is the spirit of Antichrist that moves through the church. So there is a world outside of what we call reality that is not natural. The proper word is miraculous, but you could use supernatural. When you put the word super on something, it means without or not part of, separate from, completely diametric. It's somewhere else that's not anywhere in relationship with where you are. Supernatural means it is not possible to be part of nature or reality. Okay. I seen Elon Musk interviewed arguing about this, the good moral aspects of religion, but he doesn't see miraculous things in nature or in reality, which is simple logic, but he thinks there's possibly a higher power. He doesn't know. He concentrates totally on what is in reality and nature and science and physics. That's his parameter. He will not ever look there and see super nature because it doesn't exist in nature. Okay, so what's this got to do with the mark of the beast? Okay, let me tell you something. When America was born, it was under the oppression of England, and England was taxing the living daylights out of America. That's why they had the Tea Party, when they threw all the tea into the bay, and they refused to pay taxes to England. This all became a big fight where the colonists, the colonialists, fought England, won because they were busy fighting Napoleon and all this other stuff, and they said, we'll come back later and take care of the American problem. So America gained independence. England come back later. What was it, 1812, tried to take the country back over. What does this have to do with the mark? Hang on. All through the 1800s, America was different than any other country on earth. No taxation. They rebelled so far against the taxation from England, they said, we're not going to do it here. So what did they do? They knew Spain, France, England, all of these countries in Europe would love to steal America, come in, conquer it, and take it over. So they felt threatened, all right? And they knew how much they didn't like taxation, right? So what they did that was brilliant is they took and put tariffs on all imports coming into America during the 1800s. The tariffs brought so much money in that America became the most wealthy country on the earth. They had so much money, it paid for the military, paid for inner structure, paid for all of the roads, the bridges, paid for everything. Everybody was making things and selling it to each other and to Europe. And then everything that came into America, they put a tariff on it, and it brought in billions of dollars in the 1800s. Brilliant. And then the scheme of evil was to do away with that when they made the Federal Reserve note and took all of our money off gold and silver standard. It took a period of years to make that happen. And then they brought in a reserve currency note, which is a promissory note for debt. It's wrote right on it. Otherwise, it ain't worth the paper it's printed on. So what happened is then starting in the middle 1900s, 1950 and all this, everything started collapsing, but there was so much wealth, it took a long time. And as wealth started leaving the country, the factories left, everybody was experiencing this collapse of wealth. The wealth was so great, passed from the families down, that people still were swimming in money, although they weren't bringing a lot in. And what happened was they went in debt more and more. So all of a sudden, to help keep the material things up, they made debt so easy. I remember one time, I don't go in debt, debt's evil, but we could have signed the paperwork and drove out with a brand new motorhome, my wife and I, just signing the papers, no money down. And that type of debt is evil. That's where this whole mess is working on now. The mark of the beast comes in. So watch this. Everything ends up collapsing financially. Then comes a leader who is going to bring peace. You've got war in the Middle East. You've got war with Russia, all these wars. He's going to go in and negotiate deals, and they're going to pay attention to him because he has the answer to prosperity. Bringing back tariffs. All of a sudden, he does this, and you'll see this great change or turnaround in economics. Everything will start booming. They love this man because of the money. He's a great political leader because he saves the world from economic collapse, and he brings peace to the Middle East. Oh, hang on. So what happens is he's taking over, and this twists into the Antichrist, who appears to be Jesus. It says the deception is so great, if it were possible, it would deceive the very elect. So you're going to see Christianity exploding, but this world leader will all of a sudden have a near death or a death experience and come back. And then he'll proclaim that he is actually Jesus, and he will be so kind, so loving, so personifying, such a wonderful thing, and everybody's swimming in money. They're going to jump on the bandwagon, and the Jews will too, because they do a lot of banking. I support Israel and the Jews. Don't think I'm against them. They're going to have their eyes open and come to Jesus. Okay, so what happens with the mark of the beast? With all of this going on, all of a sudden, there's going to be this changing, this evil that's coming into Christianity, and things are not right. And this Antichrist is going to be fixing the problems, and people will be rebelling against him. And he'll say, now listen, we're going to make a system here. You got to be part of it. And if you are, you're part of the strength to bring us peace and safety. You join our system and it will give you, it's like an insurance policy. It's like universal health care. It's like everything good just given to you. Student debt will be canceled. Oh, you'll get free $25,000 for free if you buy a house or start a business, or if you're one race or one or the other. Just throwing money at people. They want to be part of that system. Now, if you talk bad about it, if you talk bad about DEI, or you say it's wrong, yesterday they had a deviant, insidious, sexual perverted march downtown Orlando, Florida. Thousands of them waving rainbow flags, and right in the middle was this giant motorcade, floats from the United Methodist Church of the LGBTBC, Y, and Z. And there they all were dancing and doing their quivering snake-like movements in the name of Jesus, which is a lie from the pit of hell. You go against it. Now watch. The instability in our country. You would say, well, there is a movement away from religion. Sure. When people are prospering financially, they forget about all that stuff. When the money starts collapsing, then all of a sudden they fight over all these political issues and they fight over religion. They're fighting over it because right now we're watching a financial collapse. But when this tariff thing kicks back in and money explodes, the Antichrist will say, you have to be secure and part of this system in the world. If you don't, we will not let you in our system to ruin it. You have to have the mark of the beast. And that's where he will use money, the root of all evil. He will use that to make people line up with him. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to come out like, I'm the devil, I'm evil, join me and take my mark, and then you get money. No, that's not how he's going to deceive people. Jesus said, marvel not, Satan will come as an angel of light. People are going to think he's great, he's good. And they're going to say, love, 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 he's kind. And all of the money will be with him. You have to be part of the system to keep the system safe. He's going to promise safety. So what you do is you join that system, and then you have to accept diversity, equity, and inclusion. You have to accept the terrible, degraded things they do in the schoolroom to little tiny children with men who are dressed up in perverted, insidious sexual ways. Well, you just have to be full of love, let the money flow, and be part of the system. And I'm going to tell you something. It will be packaged in such a way and presented in such a way to Christianity, to the general public, that it's just going to be great. But for a real overcoming Christian who says, I'm standing with the testimony of faith only in Jesus. I will only believe and exercise faith with the testimony of my words in the promises of God. I don't need your medical system. I don't need your pharmaceuticals. I do not need flood insurance. I don't need any insurance. I do not believe in your educational systems, and I'm not going to vote for the better of two evils. I only follow Jesus. And that is my testimony. In him do I trust. 100% only in Jesus. Now, the Antichrist is coming up for air. You will not be part of his system. And persecuted. What will happen first is when the manifestation of the sons of God, the man-child, occurs, there'll be a first fruits catching away of those people because they have power over the enemy and they can have power over Satan. God don't want that to happen now. He takes them out. They're not going to restore the kingdom. Jesus is. So kingdom restoration is not correct. So they're taken out and come back with Jesus on horses. Jesus does the battle and they're an army with him. And then there's angels outside of that that come too. So here's the deal. The false Christian church, they want the money. They want the safety. And you say, well, Halloween is not right. Oh, don't worry about it. We got the money. And all of the evil they let in the church. But there will be those during the tribulation. After the man-child's gone, the first fruits are gone. They will make the choice not to follow Satan. Their eyes will open. They see the truth. They put 100% of their faith in Jesus and his promises and nothing but it. And that's the testimony of the word. And then they will say to Satan, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And then they will be separated from instant sanctification from the wicked, evil church that says, you live in sin forever and keep being sanctified. No, that's the devil coming out of them. You will be separated. You will be a holy and peculiar people coming out of the false church during the tribulation. And when Jesus returns with his army of overcomers, the first fruits, he will destroy the false Christian church and the Antichrist with vengeance. And the overcomers that come out during the tribulation will meet with Jesus. The Jewish people, the majority of them, will be right there with him. We'll all be together. It will be the holy bride of Christ. Everybody will be together. Jesus will reign and rule on the earth for a millennial 1,000 years. That's why the mark of the beast is going to be so important. And that's the answer. God bless you.